In the silent, star-dusted reaches of the human soul, there exists an echo of an ancient memory, a whisper of a time when the veil between the worlds was as thin as a papyrus scroll and the gates to the cosmos were not locked, but merely waiting for the correct sequence of inner light to be dialed. This is the legacy of the Egyptian Stargate Ritual, a profound spiritual technology conceived not in the cold vacuum of space, but in the warm, dark soil of the Nile's embrace and the profound astronomical wisdom of its people. It is an invitation, passed down through millennia in symbol, myth, and the very alignment of stone, to undertake the ultimate journey, to consciously leave the confines of the physical vessel and navigate the luminous rivers of higher dimensions. To speak of this ritual is not to speak of archaeology or historical reenactment, it is to speak of a living, breathing pathway that addresses the most fundamental yearning of the incarnate being, the yearning to return home, to remember a state of consciousness that exists before form and after it, a state the Egyptians knew as the realm of the Neteru, the cosmic principles that govern reality itself. Imagine, if you will, the everyday world not as the solid, definitive stage of your life, but as one room in an infinite mansion. The walls seem real, the furniture tangible, the sounds and sights immediate and convincing. You have lived in this room so long you have forgotten there are corridors, grand halls, and celestial observatories connected to it. The Egyptian Stargate Ritual is the memory of the architectural blueprint, the secret passcode that causes a seemingly solid wall to slide back, revealing a doorway that was always there, hidden in plain sight. This is not an escape from reality, but an expansion of it. It is the conscious act of realizing that the physical body, this sacred and temporary vessel, is not a prison, but a launch pad. It is the vehicle designed to experience the density of matter, yet it contains within its very design, in the rhythm of the heart, the spark of the nervous system, the quiet hum of the pineal gland, the ignition key for a voyage that transcends its own material limitations. The ritual is the ignition sequence. The Egyptians understood the cosmos as a series of interlocking, vibrating fields of energy, each with its own quality and consciousness. They saw the sky not as a distant ceiling, but as the celestial Nile, a mirror of their own life-giving river, teeming with barks of gods and the souls of the justified, sailing on currents of light and intention. The pyramid, far more than a tomb, was their resonant chamber, their stone antennae designed to focus the mind and spirit, to amplify a specific vibrational frequency that would allow the Ba, the mobile, conscious soul aspect, to disengage from the Qad, the physical body, and navigate these currents. The Stargate was not a physical ring of spinning metal, but a psycho-spiritual construct built from purified consciousness, precise symbolic language, and a will tempered in the fires of spiritual discipline. It was an inner technology for accessing outer realms, a means of aligning the individual spark of divinity with the great galactic wheel of order, Ma'at, thereby achieving a state of resonance that literally opens a portal in the fabric of perceived reality. This introduction, then, is not a beginning, but a reorientation. It is a call to look at the world, and at your own consciousness, with the eyes of a starfarer who has been dreaming a planetary dream. The sands of time have buried the explicit instructions, but the implicit map remains, etched in the pyramid texts, encoded in the weighing of the heart scene, whispered in the posture of the Sphinx. To approach this ritual is to understand that the true excavation does not happen in the Valley of the Kings, but in the hidden chambers of your own psyche. It requires brushing away the sand of distraction, of mundane concern, of the relentless tyranny of the ego, to reveal the clean, geometric lines of a higher purpose. The Stargate awaits not a specific time or place, but a specific state, a state of being where the inner world becomes more vivid and real than the outer, where thought is not an echo but a creative force, and where the soul, like the sun god Ra in his Solar Barque, is prepared to sail the dark, fertile waters of none, the primordial chaos from which all dimensions spring. This is the journey we are about to contemplate, a journey from the certainty of the earth to the infinite possibilities of the star-filled sky, using the ancient and eternal map of the Egyptian soul science. To understand the Egyptian Stargate Ritual is to grasp that it operates on a fundamental redefinition of reality itself, a cosmology where the universe is not a sterile void but a living, breathing, intelligently designed tapestry of interconsciousness. The first and most pivotal pillar upon which this entire structure rests is the principle of correspondence, immortalized in the Hermetic axiom, as above, so below, as below, so above. For the Egyptian seer, this was not a philosophical platitude but a lived, experiential truth. The world they inhabited, the Nile flooding and receding, the sun dying each evening and being reborn at dawn, the crops sprouting from decay, was a precise, albeit denser, reflection of the cosmic processes occurring in the Duat, the starlit otherworld. The human being was therefore a microcosm, a miniature universe. The heart was not merely a pump but the seat of one's moral and spiritual center, the arena where the feather of Ma'at would be weighed. The spine was not just a structural column but the Jed pillar, the stable backbone of Osiris, symbolizing the channel of eternal stability around which the transformative energies of the soul could ascend. The brain and its mysterious pineal center were associated with the eye of Horus, the organ of perfected perception capable of seeing the luminous reality behind the veil. The ritual, therefore, begins with this intimate cartography. To navigate the macrocosm, one must first become the master of the inner, microcosmic landscape. This leads us to the second core concept, the multiplicity of the soul and the sacred anatomy of consciousness. The ancient Egyptians did not perceive the soul as a single, monolithic entity. It was a composite, a sacred assembly of different aspects, each with its own function and destiny. The ritual of astral projection and dimensional travel required a precise understanding and coordination of these components. The Ka was the physical body, the anchor in the material world, the vessel that must be made pure and stable, a tranquil launchpad rather than a dragging anchor. The Ba was often depicted as a human-headed bird, representing the mobile, conscious soul, the personality, the memory, the individual will that could flit between worlds, that could leave the body in sleep or trance and travel to other realms. The Ka was the vital spark, the etheric double and life force, the spiritual battery that sustained both the body and the soul on its journeys. Then there was the Ren, the true name, the vibrational signature that defined one's essential nature, and the Ak, the fully realized, illuminated being of light that one aspired to become after successfully navigating the post-mortem and mystical trials. The Stargate Ritual was, in essence, a conscious, willed operation to temporarily separate the Ba and the Ka from the Kad, while using the Ren as a tuning frequency and aiming for the state of the Ak. It was a sacred realignment of the self, not a dissolution, ensuring the traveler remained a coherent, conscious entity, not a dissipated wisp of awareness lost in the vastness. The third theme is the gateway of the heart, which supersedes all simplistic notions of the third eye as the sole seat of mystical travel. While the eye of Horus was crucial for perception, the Egyptians understood the heart, the Ab, as the true sovereign of the inner self, the seat of intelligence, intention, and moral consequence. It was the heart that was weighed against the feather of Ma'at and the hall of judgment. This was a profound symbolic statement. Only a heart in perfect balance, free from the heavy dross of deceit, greed, and violence, could achieve the weightlessness, the specific gravity, necessary to ascend through the higher vibrational dimensions. A heart burdened with chaos, or isfit, would simply be too dense, too heavy to pass through the Stargate. The ritual, therefore, was inextricably linked with a life of moral and ethical rectitude. The opening of the mouth ceremony, often misunderstood, was in many ways a ritual for opening the heart, for restoring the faculties of the soul to perceive and receive divine sustenance. The Stargate is not a technological cheat code that bypasses the need for inner purity. It is the natural birthright of a being whose inner state has become congruent with the harmonious, ordered, and loving fabric of the cosmos itself. The gate is not so much open as it has become. Finally, we arrive at the concept of sound, symbol, and resonance as the practical keys to the ignition sequence. The Egyptians knew that the manifest world is a crystallization of vibration. The creator god Ta spoke the world into existence, thinking with his heart and commanding with his tongue. Thus, the spoken word, the Heka, was not a description of power but power itself. Specific tones, chants, and names, the Ren, were not mere labels, they were the vibrational architecture of the things they described. To know the true name of a gate, a guardian, or a dimension was to hold the resonant key that would cause it to unlock. The rituals were filled with these potent utterances, designed to create a standing wave of specific frequency within the practitioner and the ritual space. Coupled with this were the symbols: the Ankh for life and eternal vital force, the Was scepter for power and dominion, the Shin ring for eternity and protection. These were not mere drawings but concentrated thought forms, psychic capacitors that, when meditated upon, would structure the consciousness of the adept, aligning it with the cosmic principles they represented. The entire ritual, then, was a symphonic event. The body, purified and still, was the instrument; the heart, balanced and light, was the conductor; the sacred words and symbols were the score, and the focused will of the Ba was the musician, playing the melody of the self until it resonated in harmony with the frequency of the Stargate, causing the doorway between the worlds to shimmer into existence. To engage with the Stargate ritual on a purely mechanistic level, as a set of steps and correspondences, is to miss its beating heart. The ancient Egyptians did not traffic in cold, abstract principles; they encoded their deepest truths within the vibrant, dramatic, and eternally unfolding narratives of their gods. These myths are not mere stories to be read, but symbolic scripts to be inhabited, each character a facet of our own consciousness, each event a potential inner transformation. The ritual itself is a reenactment of the most profound of these cosmic dramas, and to perform it is to step onto the stage of the soul and become a participant in the divine. Consider the central, pulsing narrative of Osiris, Set, and Isis. This is not a simple tale of murder and revenge, but the fundamental map of the soul's fragmentation and the subsequent quest for wholeness required to access the Stargate. Osiris represents the integrated, divine self, the king of a unified inner kingdom, the state of consciousness that is in perfect alignment with Ma'at. He is the potential for cosmic travel, the fully realized Akh. Set, the god of chaos, violence, and the arid desert, is that force of fragmentation within us, the erupting ego, the untamed passions, the doubt and fear that shatter our inner coherence. His murder of Osiris and the dismemberment of the body into 14 parts is the precise metaphor for the shattering of the soul's unity. When we feel disconnected, lost in mundane concerns, ruled by base impulses, we are living in the state of the dismembered Osiris. The Stargate remains closed because the self is in pieces; there is no unified pilot to command the vessel. Then enters Isis, the great magician, the embodiment of devoted consciousness and unwavering love. With infinite patience and powerful Heka, she seeks out the scattered pieces of her husband. This is the first phase of the ritual proper, the painstaking work of inner recollection. It is the practice of gathering the fragmented aspects of our own psyche, the lost hopes, the suppressed traumas, the neglected talents, the dispersed attention, and bringing them back into the sphere of our conscious awareness. Isis does not destroy Set; she temporarily overcomes him through her magic to achieve her goal. This signifies that the chaotic forces within are not to be annihilated, for they are part of the whole, but they must be mastered and their energy redirected. When Isis fashions the restored body of Osiris, creating the first mummy, she is performing the inner alchemy that the initiate must perform, the reassembly of the purified self, the creation of a sacred vessel, the Khat, that is no longer a site of internal conflict but a consecrated, integrated whole, ready to receive the highest energies. This restored Osiris does not return to rule the living world; he becomes the lord of the Duat, the ruler of the afterlife, the dimension beyond the physical. This tells us that the reintegrated self is the very key to the kingdom of the unseen. The narrative then flows into the conception and birth of Horus. The resurrected Osiris and the magical Isis conceive the new king, the divine child who will confront Set. Horus represents the empowered, awakened consciousness born from the union of the restored divine self, Osiris, and the magical, devoted will, Isis. He is the Ba, the conscious soul aspect, now equipped with the legitimacy of its divine heritage and the power of its mother's magic. The protracted and brutal battle between Horus and Set is the allegory for the inner struggles the initiate faces after the initial integration. It is the testing of the resolve, the confrontation with lingering shadows, the doubt that arises on the threshold of the profound. The loss of Horus's eye in this battle is a critical symbol. The eye of Horus represents our perfected perception, our capacity to see the unified field of reality. To lose it is to fall back, momentarily, into fragmented, dualistic vision. Its subsequent restoration by Thoth, the god of wisdom and magic, signifies that this higher perception is not a permanent state initially gained, but a faculty that can be damaged by inner conflict and must be restored through the application of deep wisdom and understanding. The restored eye, the Wadjet, is then offered to Osiris, nourishing him in the Duat. This completes the sacred circuit. The integrated self, Osiris, empowers the conscious soul, Horus, which, through its trials, refines its perception, the eye, which in turn nourishes and sustains the integrated self in the higher dimensions. The Stargate is activated by this self-sustaining cycle of inner transformation. Beyond this central drama lies the ultimate journey, the voyage of the Solar Barque. Each night, the sun god Ra enters the Solar Barque and navigates the 12 hours of the Duat, a perilous journey through the underworld, facing monsters, apathetic souls, and gates guarded by terrifying deities who must be correctly addressed with their true names. This is the master narrative for the Stargate Ritual itself. The initiate is Ra, the central, sovereign consciousness. The ritual chamber or the meditative state is the Solar Barque, the vehicle of focused intention and purified energy. The journey through the hours of the night is the progression through the different vibrational levels, the higher dimensions, each with its own challenges and revelations. The demons and gatekeepers are the personified fears, mental constructs, and karmic residues that one must confront and pass. Knowing their true names is the act of understanding their essential nature, thus disarming their power over the consciousness. To successfully navigate this journey and emerge at dawn, reborn with the sunrise, is to have completed the transit, to have left the body, traversed the multidimensional landscape, and returned, transformed and renewed, having glimpsed the source of all light from within the very heart of darkness. These myths are the living, breathing software that runs on the hardware of the core concepts. To engage with the Stargate is to live these stories, to become Osiris reassembled, Horus triumphant, and Ra the eternal voyager. The grandeur of these concepts, the Solar Barque, the Hall of Judgment, the reassembly of the divine self, can feel so vast, so mythic, that it seems to belong to another age, another world, certainly not to the world of morning commutes, digital notifications, and the quiet, persistent anxieties of modern life. Yet, this is the profound and beautiful secret of the Stargate Ritual. Its true power is not reserved for moments of ecstatic trance in darkened chambers, but is meant to be woven into the very fabric of our mundane awareness, transforming the ordinary into a continuous field of practice. The ritual does not begin with a chant, it begins with the next conscious breath you take, the next choice you make, the next thought you observe with detached compassion. The real-world implication is nothing less than a complete re-enchantment of your daily reality, where every moment becomes a potential gateway, and every challenge a gatekeeper whose true name you can learn. Consider the first and most immediate implication, the cultivation of inner coherence, the modern enactment of the Osiris myth. We live in a world engineered for our dismemberment. Our attention is pulled in a dozen directions simultaneously by the siren calls of technology, social obligations, and the relentless internal chatter of the mind. We are, in a very real sense, the living, breathing Osiris, our consciousness scattered across the digital and psychological landscape. The practical work, then, is the work of Isis, to gather the pieces. This translates not to a weekend retreat, but to the deliberate practice of mindfulness. It is the conscious decision to be fully present while drinking a cup of tea, feeling the warmth of the cup, smelling the aroma, tasting the flavor, without the simultaneous pull to check a phone or plan a meeting. It is the practice of single tasking, of bringing the full force of your attention to one thing at a time, thereby reassembling your cognitive field. Each time you gently return your wandering attention to a chosen anchor, your breath, a sensory experience, a single task, you are performing a micro-ritual of recollection. You are finding a piece of your Osiris and bringing it back to the sanctum of the present moment. This is not a passive state but an active, willful creation of inner order, the foundational preparation without which no stable journey beyond the body can be sustained. This work of integration naturally extends to the second practical pillar, the weighing of the heart in the marketplace of daily life. The feather of Ma'at is not an abstract standard, it is the measure of integrity, authenticity, and right relationship. The real-world implication is a life of rigorous, moment-to-day ethical mindfulness. Did you speak with honesty in that difficult conversation, or did you choose the convenient lie? Did you act from a place of generosity and compassion, or from scarcity and fear? When you encountered a person in need, did you offer a fragment of your time and attention, or did you turn away, adding a little more weight to your own heart? This is not about a dogmatic morality of good and evil, but about the physics of consciousness. Every action, word, and even thought that is out of alignment with truth and harmony adds a subtle density to your being, a vibrational drag that makes the liftoff of consciousness more difficult. Conversely, every act of kindness, every moment of patience, every instance of courage in the face of fear, is an act of spiritual weightlessness. It is a polishing of the heart, ensuring it remains light, resonant, and capable of ascending when the call comes. The Stargate is accessed not by the morally perfect, but by the ethically intentional, by those who are actively engaged in the alchemy of lightening their own being. Furthermore, the concept of the Ren, the true name, finds its practical application in the power of intentional language and self-definition. We are constantly narrating our existence, both aloud and in the silent, internal monologue that runs like a subterranean river beneath our awareness. This narration is a form of low-grade, continuous heka. When you say, "I am so stressed," or "I am not good enough," or "this always happens to me," you are speaking a spell of limitation, you are declaring a false name for yourself, one that builds walls around your potential. The practical integration of the Stargate wisdom is to become the magician of your own tongue. It is to consciously choose your words, both spoken and internal. To reframe "I am stressed" to "I am navigating a challenge and I am cultivating calm," is to change your vibrational signature. To affirm "I am a being of light learning and growing," is to state a truer name. This is not naive positive thinking, it is the active, practical use of sound and symbol to structure your personal reality, to declare yourself as a being capable of transcendence, thereby making it so. You are, in effect, chanting your own divine passport into a higher state of being. Finally, the ultimate real-world implication is the transformation of perception itself, the cultivation of the eye of Horus in the midst of the mundane. This is the practice of seeing the sacred in the profane, the cosmic in the commonplace. The daily commute becomes a journey through the hours of the Duat, where the other drivers are not obstacles but fellow travelers, each in their own bark, each facing their own inner demons. The morning sun is not just a star but the reborn Ra, and you are a participant in its daily victory over darkness. A setback at work becomes the confrontation with the gatekeeper Apep, the serpent of chaos, not to be destroyed but to be understood and navigated with the spear of your focused will. This shift in perspective is the most practical tool of all, for it renders every single experience, no matter how trivial or difficult, as grist for the mill of your awakening. You are no longer a victim of circumstance, but a Ra-like voyager, a Horus-like hero, navigating the symbolic and literal challenges of your path. The Stargate is no longer a distant, mythical object, but a quality of attention that can be activated here and now, in the supermarket, in the office, in a moment of silence between breaths, revealing the infinite dimensions shimmering just behind the thin veil of the apparent world. The journey we have undertaken, from the silent deserts of antiquity to the bustling landscapes of the modern soul, reveals a truth far more profound than a mere historical curiosity or an esoteric technique. The Egyptian Stargate Ritual is, in its ultimate essence, not a ritual at all in the sense of a performed ceremony, but a metaphor for the innate and dormant potential of human consciousness itself. It is the birthright whispered into the clay of our being, a spiritual genome waiting for the trigger of conscious intent to express its celestial coding. We have navigated the core concepts of cosmic correspondence and the sacred anatomy of the soul. We have inhabited the symbolic narratives of death, reassembly, and solar voyage, and we have sought to translate these grand themes into the quiet, persistent poetry of daily life. Now, all these streams must converge into a single, flowing river, carrying us toward the ocean of a fundamental realization. The gate is not a destination to be reached, but a state of being to be remembered. This entire exploration serves as a mirror held up to the deepest part of our nature. The dismemberment of Osiris is the fragmentation we feel in a world of distraction and division. The quest of Isis is the yearning for wholeness that stirs in us during moments of quiet desperation or sudden beauty. The battle of Horus is the internal conflict we wage each day between our higher aspirations and our base anxieties. The voyage of the Solar Barque is the journey of a single human life, from the dawn of birth, through the challenging hours of experience, toward the unknown horizon of what comes next. The Stargate Ritual, therefore, does not offer an escape from this human journey, but rather the means to understand it, to master it, and to perceive the infinite dimensions of meaning and possibility that are interwoven with it. The pharaohs who built their pyramids as resonant machines of stone were, in truth, building an external model of an internal truth. Your body is your pyramid. Your beating heart is your sacred chamber. Your focused awareness is the capstone, aligning your individual will with the divine will of the cosmos. And so we arrive at the transformational call, not as a command from without, but as an invocation from within. The call is for a shift in identity, from a passive inhabitant of a solid, predetermined world to an active co-creator of a luminous, multidimensional reality. It is a call to cease seeing yourself as a prisoner of circumstance, a mere biological accident, and to remember that you are a star-born consciousness having a terrestrial experience. You are the Ba, the mobile soul, temporarily resident in the Khat, the physical vessel. You are Ra, the sovereign consciousness, capable of navigating the darkest hours of the Duat and emerging renewed. This is not a metaphor for a future afterlife, it is a description of your present, moment-to-moment existence. The transformational call is to live this truth. It is to begin the great work of inner recollection, to gather the scattered pieces of your attention and intention, to polish the heart through acts of integrity and compassion, and to speak the words that shape your world with the power of one who knows their own divine origin. Do not be daunted by the scale of this undertaking. The journey of 1,000,000 light years begins with a single, conscious breath. The Stargate opens not with a cataclysmic roar, but with the subtle, inner click of a lock yielding to the correct key. That key is your awakened awareness. Start where you are. Use the mundane as your temple. Let the daily struggle be your initiation. See the people in your life as the Neteru, the divine principles. They truly are, reflecting back to you the parts of yourself that require integration and honor. The path is walked not by fleeing the world, but by walking through it with new eyes, with the restored eye of Horus, perceiving the eternal shining through the temporal. The sands of Egypt have preserved the outer form of this knowledge, but its living spirit cannot be contained in any tomb or text. It breathes in the space between your thoughts. It pulses in the rhythm of your heart. It calls to you in your dreams and in your most profound moments of intuition. You are the current inheritor of this ancient science of the soul. You are the modern scribe, the priest, the pharaoh of your own inner kingdom. The blueprint is now in your hands. The symbols have been decoded. The myth is alive in your story. The only question that remains is whether you will answer the call, step into the sanctum of your own being, and begin the sacred sequence, the alignment of heart, mind, and will, that will cause the inner stones to slide away, revealing the starlight that has been waiting for you on the other side, not for centuries, but for all eternity. The gate is within. The time is now. The journey awaits.